Aging is not just the passing of time, it's the way we choose to live within that time. Every wrinkle tells a story, every gray hair holds a lesson, and every moment still ahead of us is a chance to embrace life with strength and wisdom. But too often, we let the weight of age press us down. We focus on what we've lost rather than what remains, and in doing so, we unintentionally limit ourselves. We dwell on our struggles, withdraw from the world, and convince ourselves that our best years are behind us. But what if that wasn't true? What if the way you think, speak, and act could transform your later years into something deeply fulfilling? What if, instead of fading into the background, you stepped forward and embraced this stage of life with a renewed sense of purpose? You are still here. You still have love to give, laughter to share, and wisdom to pass down. The question is, will you allow negativity to steal your joy, or will you take control of your life and make these years the best they can be? Today, I want to share with you 3 things not to say, 3 things not to do, and 3 places not to go, so you can live fully, wisely, and beautifully. Before we begin, I'd really appreciate it if you like this video. It helps me keep sharing more important lessons. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Also, if you enjoy this video, please comment 1. If you don't, comment 0 so I know how to improve. Now, let's get started. Part 1. 3 things not to say. 1. Don't complain too much about your health. I know, it's not always easy. Some days, the aches are stronger, the fatigue lingers longer, and the body doesn't cooperate the way it used to. You wake up with stiffness in your joints, you feel the weight of time pressing down, and before you know it, the words slip out, "I'm tired of this pain." I hate feeling this way. It's natural to want to express frustration, but have you ever noticed how much power those words hold? The more you talk about discomfort, the more you focus on it. Complaining may seem like a release, but does it truly help? Does repeating how much your back hurts, how exhausted you feel, or how unfair aging is actually bring relief? Or does it deepen frustration, making the discomfort feel even heavier? I say this with the utmost respect. Your pain is real, your struggles are valid, and aging does bring challenges. But here's what I want you to consider. Complaining doesn't heal, it harms. It doesn't ease discomfort, it amplifies it. It doesn't inspire strength, it drains energy. And it doesn't just affect you, it affects the people who love you. Have you noticed how conversations sometimes start to feel repetitive? How your children or friends respond with a polite nod but a distant look? It's not that they don't care, it's that they feel powerless. They don't know how to fix what you're going through, and hearing about it repeatedly can make them feel helpless, or even guilty, for not being able to do more. Now, imagine a different approach. Instead of waking up and focusing on what hurts, focus on what still works. Instead of saying, "I feel terrible today," try saying, "I'm doing my best to take care of myself." Instead of letting your words feed frustration, let them build resilience. Take small, positive actions. Drink more water, go for a short walk, practice deep breathing. Speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, just as you would to a dear friend. Your words shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your reality. Every step, no matter how small, is a victory. You are still here, still capable, still in control. So don't let complaints define you. Let hope, gratitude, and self-care lead the way. 2. Don't speak poorly of your children, grandchildren, or others. It's easy to look at the younger generation and feel a twinge of disappointment. You raised your children with love, sacrificed for them, gave them your time, your wisdom, your guidance. And now, maybe they don't call as often as they once did. Maybe they don't visit like they used to. Perhaps they don't always show the level of gratitude or attentiveness you hoped for. And yes, that can hurt. It's natural to feel frustrated, to want to say, they don't appreciate anything. They're too busy for me now. But before you let those words take hold, ask yourself, do they bring you closer to your family, or do they push them further away? Criticism, even when born from love or disappointment, doesn't build connection. It builds walls. When you speak negatively about your children, grandchildren, or others, you may think you're simply expressing your feelings, but what you're really doing is creating distance. The more you focus on what they don't do, the less you recognize what they do. And worse, your words may unintentionally teach them to withdraw, to feel like no matter how much they try, they'll never be enough. Think back to when you were younger. Life was different then, simpler in many ways. But do you remember how it felt when older relatives criticized you? Did it make you feel loved and understood? Or did it leave you feeling like you were constantly falling short? Generations change, and so do the pressures of life. The world your children and grandchildren are navigating is different from the one you knew. They may not visit as much as you'd like, but that doesn't mean they love you any less. It simply means life pulls them in many directions. So instead of criticism, choose understanding. Instead of saying, "You never visit," try, "I miss you." Let's find a way to spend more time together. Instead of pointing out what they haven't done, acknowledge what they have, even the small things. When you replace judgment with kindness, frustration with patience, you don't just mend relationships, you strengthen them. And in doing so, you create a bond that no distance, no distraction, and no passing time can break. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for taking the time to watch. 3. Don't keep repeating old stories. We all have stories, memories that define us, moments that shaped our lives, lessons that we carry like treasures. And as we grow older, those memories become even more precious. We find ourselves returning to them, sharing them with our children, our grandchildren, our friends. We talk about the struggles we overcame, the sacrifices we made, the times when life was different, perhaps even better. At first, these stories feel like a way to pass on wisdom, to remind the world of what we've lived through. But over time, something happens. The stories stop feeling fresh, and the people around us start listening out of politeness rather than interest. We don't notice it right away, but their smiles become thinner, their attention drifts, and suddenly, we feel something we never expected: distance. Let me be clear, your stories matter. They are part of who you are. But when we dwell too much in the past, we risk losing the present. Imagine sitting at a table with your grandchildren, retelling the same story about your childhood for the 10th time. They nod politely, but their minds are elsewhere. Now, what if, instead of just talking about the past, you asked them about their lives today? What if you engaged in their stories, their experiences, their dreams? Wouldn't that create a deeper, more meaningful connection? There is a difference between sharing wisdom and living in nostalgia. The past should be a foundation, but it should never become a cage. Instead of saying, "Back in my day, we did things differently," try, "That reminds me of something I once experienced. Can I share what I learned from it?" Rather than simply repeating old memories, frame them in a way that offers insight, not just recollection. And then, listen. Ask questions. Engage. Life is still happening all around you, and by embracing the present, you don't just keep your relationships strong, you keep your own spirit alive. Your life is not just a collection of memories, it is still unfolding. There are still new stories to be written, new moments to be cherished, and new connections waiting to be made. Don't let yesterday steal the beauty of today. Now that we've covered what not to say, let's focus on what not to do. Actions shape our reality just as much as words. In Part 2, we'll explore 3 key behaviors to avoid so you can live with more purpose, connection, and well-being. Let's dive in. Part 2, 3 things not to do. 1. Don't isolate yourself. There's a quiet temptation that comes with aging, the pull toward solitude. Maybe you felt it. The world moves too fast, conversations feel harder to keep up with, and sometimes, it just seems easier to stay home. You tell yourself you don't mind the quiet, that being alone is just part of growing older. And while solitude can be peaceful, it can also turn into something else, loneliness. And loneliness, my friend, is a thief. It sneaks in, day by day, until one morning, you wake up and realize you haven't laughed with anyone in weeks, haven't shared a meal with a friend, haven't felt truly seen or heard in far too long. You might think, I don't want to be a burden. You may even tell yourself that people have their own lives, that they're too busy to visit or call. But let me remind you, your presence is not a burden. It is a gift. The people who love you still want to hear your voice, still want to see your smile. And if they haven't reached out, maybe it's not because they don't care. Maybe they just don't realize how much you need them. Isolation doesn't just weigh on the heart. It takes a toll on the body and mind. Studies have shown that prolonged loneliness increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and even physical illness. It weakens the spirit, making the world feel smaller than it truly is. But the good news is that loneliness is not permanent. You have the power to change it. And it starts with a single step. A phone call. A short walk outside. A visit to a community center. A simple hello to a neighbor. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they have the power to reopen doors you thought were closed. You are not meant to fade into the background of life. You still have laughter to share, wisdom to give, and memories to create. Don't let isolation steal your joy. Reach out. Engage. Connect. Because the truth is, the world still needs you, and there are people out there, waiting, hoping, to hear from you today. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment 3 below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 2. Don't neglect your health. Your body has carried you through decades of life, through laughter and loss, through work and rest, through days of strength and moments of weakness. It has been your home, your companion, the vessel that allowed you to experience everything this world has to offer. And yet, as the years pass, it becomes easier to overlook its needs. To assume that decline is inevitable. That the aches, the stiffness, the fatigue are simply part of aging. And while aging may bring challenges, neglecting your health is a choice, a dangerous one. Because every moment you delay caring for yourself is a moment stolen from your future, one less day of energy, one less opportunity to live fully, one less chance to make memories with those you love. Maybe you tell yourself, what's the point? I'm already old. Maybe you think it's too late to change anything. But I promise you, it's never too late. Your body, no matter its age, responds to care. The food you eat, the movement you make, the rest you allow yourself, these things still matter. A daily walk, even just around the block, can improve your heart health. Drinking more water, eating fresher foods, stretching for a few minutes in the morning, these are not grand, impossible tasks. They are small but powerful ways to give your body what it deserves. And it's not just about the physical. Your mental and emotional well-being matter just as much. Neglecting your health can lead to more than just physical pain. It can bring feelings of helplessness, loneliness, even depression. When you stop taking care of yourself, it sends a message to your mind: I'm giving up. But you are not done yet. You are still here, still capable of joy, of love, of purpose. So, make that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Fill your plate with food that fuels your body. Take a walk in the fresh air. Move, breathe, nourish yourself, not just so you can live longer, but so you can live better. Your health is not a burden. It is a gift. And when you care for it, you are giving yourself the greatest gift of all, the ability to truly enjoy the life that remains. 3. Don't overspend or be overly frugal. Money is a tricky thing, isn't it? You spend your whole life working, saving, sacrificing, thinking that one day, when you finally retire, you'll have the freedom to enjoy it. But then reality sets in. The fear of outliving your savings creeps in, and suddenly, every dollar feels precious. Or maybe, after years of restraint, you finally feel like it's time to indulge, buying things you don't truly need, taking expensive trips, or spoiling family members, believing that generosity will make up for lost time. But here's the truth: neither extreme, overspending nor hoarding, will bring you peace. Finding balance is the key to enjoying your later years without regret. Overspending often comes from a desire to fill an emotional void. You might think, I've earned this, and of course, you have. But be careful, temporary pleasures won't replace deeper fulfillment. A new gadget, a lavish vacation, or an expensive gift may bring momentary happiness, but what happens after? If your financial security is shaken, that joy quickly turns into stress, and suddenly, the very thing meant to bring happiness becomes a burden. On the other hand, being overly frugal can steal your joy just as much as reckless spending. Maybe you're afraid of becoming a burden to your family. Maybe you want to leave something behind for your children or grandchildren. But ask yourself, at what cost? Are you denying yourself basic comforts? Are you skipping doctor's appointments because they seem too expensive? Are you missing out on experiences that could bring you happiness because you're too afraid to spend? The truth is, money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. It is meant to support your life, not control it. So, what's the solution? Spend wisely. Invest in things that truly matter: your health, meaningful experiences, and connections with loved ones. If you want to help family, do so within reason. Your well-being should always come first. Find simple joys that don't cost much: a morning walk, a heartfelt conversation, a home-cooked meal. Because in the end, the richest life is not measured by how much money you have, but by how well you lived, how deeply you loved, and how fully you embraced every moment. With actions covered, let's talk about environment. In Part 3, we'll explore 3 places to avoid for better health, safety, and peace of mind. Let's continue. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment 4 below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Part 3. 3 places not to go. 1. Avoid places that are too noisy or chaotic. There was a time when noise didn't bother you, when the world felt alive with movement, with energy, with excitement. But as the years pass, something changes. The once thrilling buzz of a crowded street, the laughter of a packed restaurant, the blaring music of a busy shopping mall, these things don't bring joy the way they once did. Instead, they drain you. They overwhelm your senses, leaving you feeling exhausted, unsettled, maybe even anxious. And yet, many people continue to push themselves into loud, chaotic spaces, thinking they must keep up, that avoiding such places means giving in to old age. But here's the truth. Avoiding noise and chaos is not about weakness, it's about protecting your peace. As we grow older, our bodies and minds become more sensitive to overstimulation. Loud environments can spike stress levels, increase blood pressure, and even lead to feelings of confusion or irritation. The constant chatter, the never-ending rush, the unpredictable energy of crowds, it all takes a toll. And while younger people may bounce back from that kind of sensory overload, for you, the recovery takes longer. But here's the beautiful thing, you don't have to put yourself through that anymore. You've lived long enough to choose where you invest your energy. And that means choosing places that nurture, not drain, your spirit. Instead of a noisy cafe filled with distractions, why not enjoy a quiet morning in a peaceful coffee shop where you can savor your drink in calmness? Instead of pushing through crowded shopping centers, why not go during off-peak hours when the aisles are quieter? Instead of attending large, overwhelming social events, why not seek out intimate gatherings where conversations are deeper and connections feel more meaningful? Peace isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. And choosing places that bring you tranquility is an act of self-respect, not avoidance. The world will keep rushing, but you don't have to run with it. You've earned the right to slow down, to seek stillness, to protect your well-being. Because true joy is not found in noise, it's found in the quiet moments where your heart can breathe, your mind can rest, and your soul can feel at peace. 2. Avoid places unsuitable for your health. Your health is your foundation. It determines how well you experience the world, how much joy you can embrace, and how much freedom you truly have. Yet, too often, we ignore the silent warnings our bodies give us. We push ourselves into environments that don't support our well-being, believing we can handle it like we always have. But the truth is, as we age, the places we choose to go matter more than ever. Some places that once felt exciting can now pose real risks to your health. Recognizing this isn't about limitation, it's about preserving your strength, your energy, and your peace. Think about it. High-altitude areas with thin air, extreme weather conditions, rough terrain, or places that require long walks without rest stops. These may not have affected you before, but now, they can take a serious toll on your body. A sudden change in temperature, the strain of uneven ground, or the exhaustion of standing too long can turn what should have been a pleasant outing into a dangerous experience. And the worst part? It often happens when you least expect it. Maybe you've ignored the dizziness that comes when you're somewhere too hot or too crowded. Maybe you've brushed off the fatigue of walking longer than you should. But small discomforts can quickly turn into emergencies. A fall, a sudden spike in blood pressure, a moment of breathlessness that turns serious. You don't want to be in a place where medical help is far away, where getting back to safety is difficult. Your health is too important to gamble with. But this doesn't mean giving up on adventure or experiences. It simply means being mindful of where you go and how you prepare. Choose places that support your well-being, parks with plenty of benches, restaurants with quiet spaces, destinations where you can take your time instead of rushing through crowds. Be aware of your surroundings, listen to your body, and above all, put your health first. Because the best experiences in life aren't about pushing your limits. They're about feeling good, staying safe, and making memories without unnecessary risks. Your well-being should always come first, because without it, nothing else truly matters. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment 5 below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 3. Avoid places with high safety risks. The world can be unpredictable, and as we grow older, our safety must become a priority. What once seemed like an adventure, a bustling city street, a crowded marketplace, a remote getaway, may now carry risks that we can't afford to ignore. This isn't about fear. It's about wisdom. It's about understanding that one bad fall, one wrong turn, one moment of vulnerability can change everything. And that's a risk not worth taking. Think about the places where crime is high, where people rush past without looking, where scams and theft are common. Older adults, unfortunately, are often seen as easy targets by those looking to take advantage of someone's trust or physical limitations. A distracted moment at an ATM, an unattended purse in a shopping cart, or even a friendly stranger who turns out to have bad intentions. These small oversights can lead to devastating consequences. But it's not just about crime. Some places are simply too chaotic, too fast-moving, or too poorly maintained to be safe. A cracked sidewalk, a poorly lit parking lot, a public event with no seating. These might seem minor, but for someone whose balance isn't as steady as it once was, they are hazards waiting to happen. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you suddenly felt unsafe, uneasy, or out of control? Maybe it was a packed festival where people pushed past without concern, or a subway station where the rush of movement made it hard to keep up. Maybe it was a neighborhood where something just didn't feel right. That feeling is your instinct, your wisdom, speaking to you. Listen to it. But choosing safety doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means being smart about where you go, how you prepare, and who you trust. It means planning ahead, knowing the layout of a place, having emergency contacts ready, bringing a companion when needed. It means prioritizing well-lit, well-maintained, and senior-friendly environments where you can move freely and comfortably. Your life should be filled with peace, not unnecessary risks. You've earned the right to feel secure wherever you go. Choose wisely, stay aware, and remember, true freedom comes from knowing you are safe, wherever life takes you. Aging is not a countdown, it's a continuation. It's not about what's been lost, but about what still remains and what still can be gained. The choices you make today, how you speak, how you act, where you go, will define the quality of the years ahead. So, I ask you, how will you choose to live? Will you let negativity, regret, and isolation steal your joy? Or will you stand tall, take control, and embrace this stage of life with wisdom, strength, and love? You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are still here, still capable of shaping your own experience. If you take one thing from this today, let it be this: your life is still yours to live. The words you speak can either bring frustration or hope, so choose words that uplift. The actions you take can either shrink your world or expand it, so step forward with purpose. The places you go can either drain your energy or renew your spirit, so surround yourself with spaces that bring you peace. It starts with a single choice. Instead of waking up and focusing on pain, focus on gratitude, on what your body can still do. Instead of waiting for someone to call, be the one to reach out. Instead of filling your time with memories of the past, create new ones. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a life that is rich in joy, connection, and meaning. And as you do this, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts. Your relationships strengthen. The people around you don't just see you as someone growing older, they see you as someone fully alive. You become a light in your own life and in the lives of others. So, what will you do differently today? Will you choose growth over stagnation, connection over isolation, joy over resentment? The choice is yours. But remember this, aging is not an ending, it is an invitation. An invitation to live wisely, love deeply, and embrace every single moment that is still yours to cherish. So take that invitation and live.